344571. Who are you? Three, 4, 4, 5, 7, 1. All right, number 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, that would be me.
All right. How much money do you currently make each month?
$3,000.
$3,000. Give it up for $3,000. All right.
Nothing to cheer about.
All right. So now you do realize that everything we do in this room is intentional. You do realize that every single exercise I do, every single thing I do is intentional. So you stood up and I asked you how much money you currently make each month. What's your response to me asking you that in public?
I don't care.
All right. Why don't you care?
It's, it's money. It's what it is. Okay, now, like, I had a real hard time with the last question because you wanted us to tell you something that we were scared about. I'm never scared about not having money because I know when you got to have money, it always comes to you. It's free flowing.
Okay.
Okay, if you need it, you're going to get it. That's just the way life.
So why do you make $3,000? Would you like to make more than $3,000 a month?
Yeah, my health I've been in the hospital and stuff lately, so my income's down.
So you make $3,000 a month because you have a health issue?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So your emotional response to me asking you question number 1 was you don't really care about sharing your money with people. I mean, you make
doesn't matter.
Whatever. Okay. All right. Thanks, Sterling. Have a seat. Now, you guys noticed that when I asked you guys to cheer about the $3,000, what was Sterling's response?
There's nothing to cheer about. That's
Nothing to cheer about.
To cheer about.
Okay, so what are the responses to is nothing to cheer about?
Be thankful that you're making that instead of nothing.
All right, be thankful. What else? What else?
He's nonchalant.
Nonchalant. Okay. What else?
Money's not everything to him.
Money's not everything to him. What else? Do you think $3,000 is something to cheer about?
More, he'd cheer.
If he made more, you think he'd cheer? Sterling, what amount would you cheer for?
Oh, you give me $100,000 a month,
A month?
and I'll be dancing in my shoes.
Okay. So Sterling's threshold is that he will cheer for $100,000 a month. All right. Now you make $3,000. There's a matter of $97,000 difference between what your current reality is and what your cheer about reality is. So what are you going to do in between that spectrum of time between the $3,000 and the $100,000?
Have to change something up because what I'm doing presently isn't working for what I want.
Okay. All right. So here's one of the things that I teach in Intentional Millionaire. Some of you who were at my I Love My Money seminar know this. You have to be excited and grateful for every amount of money that you have along the way. Because what most of us do is that we're grateful only when we get the money that we want. Only when it's money that we want to cheer about. But money, just like any other, money wants to be appreciated. It wants to be loved and nurtured and appreciated. And some of us, even though we never say those words, we never say, I don't appreciate the money I make. Our behavior, our spiritual currency reflects that we don't appreciate the money that we make. And that makes it harder to make money. It makes it really hard to make money. It makes it hard for money to come into your life. So most of us have a very constricted energy around money, evidenced by the words that you guys have used to talk about it. It's never enough. I don't have enough. I want more. That's like think of it like a drain. Have you seen the Drano commercials? You notice how the hair is all clogged up in there? That's how most of us respond to money. That's how most of our current money canals are that clogged up with all this stuff that you just mentioned. You're scared, you don't think you're going to have enough, you don't appreciate it. That's all the hairballs in your money canal. So what we're doing this weekend is doing the Roto-Rooter on your current money energy. There's a reason money comes easily to some people. There's a reason. They don't have constriction around money. Okay? So, when I ask when you saw the first question on here was how much money do you currently make? Be honest. How many of you thought I'm not answering that question? John?
I did.
John, why did you answer that question?
That's a selected question.
It's a selected question? What does that mean?
It means I'll select one I want to answer. and in all seriousness, I might make $500 a month, and then I might make
$5,000. Okay. All right. Okay. So, but you didn't answer that question because it's a selective question, or you didn't answer that question because you're not comfortable answering that question in front of people.
Well, my second question was
What was your first?
NOYB.
What's that?
NOYB.
None yet. Okay. Now, how many of you? Go ahead.
I kind of was like with him. I'm like, why?
You know,
I was like, why?
Okay.
I answered it.
You answered it? Okay, so John said NYOB. Why NYOB, John?
The amount is really immaterial to me. If the needs are met, the rest is excess rather, to whether it's to put back into business, whether it's to charitable, whatever. So the actual amount, that's an ever-changing figure for me. It's not about grabbing X amount of dollars every month. It's about taking care of the needs, and then the rest will usually take care of itself. You know, you want total candor and honesty. You know,
Sure.
I've been a millionaire, and I've lost it all. Let me tell you, it's a whole lot more fun at the top than it is trying to get back up there. You know, mine was bad decisions, bad investments, and if you're running a tidal wave, then when you have economic situations like we have today, that's when the tidal wave will wipe you out in a heartbeat. But I learned from that to the standpoint that it wasn't about a magical X amount of dollars per month. It's about taking care of the standards or the priorities or the goals that you have in mind and acquiring that. So it's gaining more. How much is enough? Again, to me, that's an ever-moving target. It's an ever-changing target.
Okay. Any responses to John's response? Here.
I can tell you why I would say none yet. Is because one of the, well, it's what you start off at the beginning by saying people tend to judge you. I remember talking to someone very close and personal to me, came home one Saturday, had just done 3 workshops, and they were kind of poo-pooing what I did, and I just wanted to share with them, this is what I just invoiced these people today. And the look on their face, and I was treated differently. So it's just kind of like,
Now, everybody heard that? You do realize that is about you, right? You do realize that your response to them, I mean, whatever is going on in their head is what's going on is with them. But you have to deal with how you feel about their response. So for some people, it's just much easier to say none of your business. But I don't buy that. I don't buy that it's just none of your business. It's what you described. It's that experience you described that you don't want to have. I'd just rather not deal with that look that people give us, that thing, okay? All right? Pat, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it's so funny because that question, it would seem to me, would feel a lot like saying, how much do you weigh? And then, because when you answer the question, depending on your frame, you could be an Adonis, and then you're like, well, I weigh 167 pounds, and they go, amazing,
right.
Okay? Or if it's 246 pounds and you're 5'7", they go, ow.
Yeah. Right. Really?
Yeah. Because it's the money thing, I mean, it's just like the weight. The money thing exposes your sin, so to speak, your offenses, internal offenses, or internal exploits.
Right. So what I want to do is change the conversation about money. Right? I know why John I know, I can tell by John's body language that John didn't answer that question. Okay? Okay? All right? So I want to change the conversation and the currency about money so y'all can bring more of it into your life.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, that's what it's all about. And I'm an athlete. There's no way I'm going to say, I just want to be the best athlete I can be. No, I want to be an Olympian. I want to be a WNBA champion. You have to have goals around money. It doesn't mean that if I didn't make I was the last person cut from the Olympic team, my life wasn't over. But if I didn't shoot for the absolute top, I wouldn't have gotten near the top. I don't believe that. I've never met an athlete who didn't want to be the absolute best in their thing, who wasn't along the way taking little steps to get there. So it's not about this magical number. That's just the thing that you shoot for. That's just the thing that you just kind of day to day, just kind of, when I get, it's an amazing thing to say, I want to get to $100 grand a month, and then you get there and you're just like, that did not happen by accident. Okay, the first time I made over $100,000 a month, and I hadn't worked like maybe 3 days that month, I was freaking on fire. I don't care what anybody says. But I also had that as a goal. I said, this is what I want to do. And now that number's bigger, and this is what I want to do. Okay, John, what are you going to say?
Well, you always, and most of us, many of us can relate to sports analogy.
Yeah.
But it's like when you take a team that barely can show up on the court, and you're going to pair them up against the national champions. It's like,
what
fool
scheduled
that game? and it's at the national championships home court. The attendance went to half because this is a walkaway.
Right.
How do you get better if you're not playing the best?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. How do you get better if you're not striving for something more than you have? You're not here this weekend because you have all the money you want. Right? Because I was sleeping good this morning. I was going to tell you, I was sleeping real good this morning. At 6 o'clock with my alarm was off.
And I was thinking, man, that woman better be good.
Right? So you're here because you want to get to another level, whatever that is. And I use the word guarantee very, very seriously. And I guarantee you, if you will do the things we talk about this weekend, you will get to I guarantee it. Because there is a science to being wealthy. People think it's emotional, and there is a science to getting rich. You do certain things, there are a lot of different ways to do it, but you do certain things, you get there. That's just a reality. Portia.
Can you answer number one?
Sure, it varies. Sometimes I make $250,000 a month, sometimes I make $25,000 a month. Sure. Yeah, it varies. I mean, you guys know my business, so I speak. I have like 4 companies, so it varies for me. And believe me, the $250,000 a month are much more exciting than the $25,000 a month. But I still
either would do right now.
What's that?
Either would do right now.
But I've learned that when receivables come in and it's $25,000, I'm really excited because I know that there was a time when I had $7 in my bank account and was wondering, wow, how is this going to work out? So I get very excited about money, and I've learned not to take on the conversations that we've been taught to have about money. I mean, there was a time when you would ask me that, I was like, why? Right? But that's just because we're so concerned what people think about us. If you didn't care what people thought about you, you'd shout from the mountaintop everything. Your personal life, think about people who are divorced. When you ask them if they're divorced, they're just like, why? Because we've been taught to see those people a certain way. Okay? So I made a decision many years ago not to be invested in what people thought about me. And as a result of that, every area of my life got better. So, money is just that thing. And, there are people, I have friends who make millions of dollars a month. Score. Good for them. And we talk about money very differently than most people do. We just do. And as a result, money comes to us very easily. We're not constricted. We're not, we don't judge it. We don't think we're better. It's just money. It's just, Yeah, exactly. Okay? All right, so there's a reason that question was the first question on the list, because I know it is the question that will shut most people down. It's a question that will shut most people down, and it's a question that will cause people to go into a completely different space. But it's the most, it's a question that I want to get going because I want your dialogue to change around money. Okay? Why do you earn, just anybody randomly, why do you earn the amount of money you earn each month?
Because that's what they pay me.
Because, and I love it. I'm so glad you said that. Did y'all hear that? Because that's what they pay me. Right? And guess what? They decide how much money you make. For the rest of your life, the elusive they will decide how much money you make, unless you do something different. Unless you do something different. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I had that bowl of the same thing you just said, many of you know that I played in the WNBA. When I retired from the WNBA, I went into broadcasting with ESPN. And you guys are familiar with ESPN, right? Okay. So I went into broadcasting with ESPN, and each year we have to negotiate our contract. Now, in ESPN, like most mega brands, they know you want to work for them. They know that to say you work for ESPN, you're going to get something for that. So that means that they can pay you crackers and grapefruit juice, but they don't pay you very much because they know you can leverage the fact that you work for that brand. And so, true to form, ESPN just doesn't pay a whole lot, or didn't when I was with them for 7 or 8 years or whatever. But I remember when we were negotiating my contract in 2001, and we asked for more money. For me, my agent asked for more money for me. And it wasn't an astronomical amount of money, but it was more money. And they were not happy with me asking for more money. And so they were like, well, there are a lot of people who would want to do what Fran does and blah, blah, blah. They went through that whole thing. Yeah. And they gave us the money that we wanted, but I remember that summer, it was the WNBA season, I remember that summer thinking I never wanted to feel like my financial life was hanging in the balance because of what they were going to pay me. Because they were determining how much I could get paid. And that summer, I intentionally started my own production company. I started 2 other companies. One of them is $1 million company. Started doing consulting. It was so palpable, just that meeting, just listening to them say, well, we may and we may not. And I remember I never wanted to feel that way again. Ever wanted to feel the way where somebody else determines how much money I can make. And so today it's all about conditioning and getting you to the wealth level that you need to be at. But tomorrow it's literally physically about the businesses that you currently run or want to run and how you can turn those into $1 million businesses in the next 12 to 18 months. So everybody leaves here with a blueprint for their specific business. Okay? All right, so this is not like enigmatic type. You're going to leave with a specific thing for your specific business so you know what you need to do to take your business to the next level, as in $10,000 more a month or $20,000 more a month. Okay? John?
Can I expound on what you just said?
Sure.
Those of you who may have never had the privilege to sit or work with Fran, let me share this with you. I sit in a workshop, and Pat has done the same workshop last month. 3 days. I only made it 2. My knees and back will only handle so much of nonsense. These were 13 and 14-hour days. It's all about the blueprint of taking your business to the next level and doing this and doing all the hoo-ha. But what she said, we're going to tell and show you how to take your current business. That's a big underline. Current business. This is not about, what I just heard was, this is not about pie in the sky of, here's how to do it if you can go find something you fit into. We're going to take you where you're at today and move you forward.
Yep.
And that, I thank you for, because that already paid the investment that I've made in my 2 days. Not the money, the time.
Yeah. Great. So let's take a 10-minute break. We're going to come back, we're going to finish this, and then we're going to get into more of your business. So let's take a 10-minute break.